with this BMW S1000R, there is one annoying problem, and that's, and I'm sure all you S1000R owners know that, when it stands for a while and you start it up, the first 1 or 2 seconds it rattles terribly. It makes a really noise, rattling. This bike came out of the factory with a oil pressurized cam chain tensioner. So what happens? Whenever the bike stands for a while, overnight, the oil pressure drops, of course, and the cam tensioner, which is filled with oil, slowly starts leaking out the oil, and it goes back. So when you start up the bike, there is way too much slag in the cam chain, so it rattles for a few seconds, 1, 2, 3, and then the oil pressure pumps it out again, and then the noise is gone. But to start up a new bike like this, it's not what you want to hear. People walk by and say, holy shit, what's the matter with this bike? It rattles for a moment. Didn't you hear it? So my son came over to me, explained the problem, and he said, Dad, what can we do about it? I always know that when he says, what can we do about it? It's me, the old mechanic. But I love to do it. It's my son. I said, well, let's see if we can get our hands on a manual cam chain tensioner. And we did. We looked it up. I looked it up together. We looked what was the best option, and we got this one from an American company, APE, who makes manual cam chain tensioners. I mounted it and we carefully adjusted it. You have to do it very carefully. There is this bolt that goes in, and there is a rail for the cam chain, and you slightly start pushing it. So you start the bike, warm it up, and then you start screwing it in until the rattling stops, because at that point the chain is still a bit loose, and you tweak it until the rattling stops and it's not too tight. Be careful, you can't screw it in as much as you can, because that's not good. Slide it in, screw it carefully in, and listen when the rattling stops. Then go a little bit further, okay, that's alright, and then go slightly back, and then just before the rattling starts again, the kind of noise, stop, and then you lock it, and then it's alright. But there was a slight problem with it. The way they build those cam chain tensioners, they use just an O-ring to seal it off, and that actually isn't enough. The oil gets really hot and it seeps through the thread of the bolt that goes in your engine to tension the cam chain. So we got it off again. We did a tiny smear of liquid gasket on the threads, Then it was nicely, that's now perfect. So that was a problem with this bike. We're gonna listen. This bike is standing here for 2 days, and I'm sure when you have the same bike with the old factory cam chain tensioner, you will hear the difference. So let's see. First open the door. Wilma, open the door. So let's do it. So let's start it up. Okay. You still can hear that it's not a really smooth engine. It's not like a Yamaha. Have you ever listened to the Yamaha Phaser? Whoa, it sounds perfect. This bike sounds more like the old Kawasaki's. I had a ZZR 1100, and especially when it's cold or when it was idling, it was terrible. It was like there were all kinds of things loose in the engine, and this one is actually the same. It's a rough engine, but once you ride it, then all that noise goes away, or probably because you sit on top of it you don't hear it anymore. I'm not sure, but when it's idling, it's not the most sophisticated running bike. My opinion. If you have another opinion, please put it in the comments. So that was my my video about the manual cam chain tensioner. I hope you like it. If you do, please subscribe to my channel. I really would appreciate that. And if you have something to say, please put it in the comments. And for now, Old Mechanic out.